basically looking at tropes that may be in the subconscious that you respond to. Person for me who did this the best was George Lucas. And I know, over the years, George has gotten a bum rap. People forgot how amazing that original Star Wars trilogy was. You had the princess, you had, the naive farm boy who became a hero and had kind of a dead-end life. You had the bad guy with a heart of gold. These are archetypes. You had the wizened wizard in Ben Kenobi, like you had Gandalf in, Lord of the Rings. And in terms of the elements of a fantasy story, to me, fantasy, when done right, is not so far out there. Fantasy expresses great truths about who we are, where we're going, where were we before, how did we get to this point now, what happens next. And with that comes, as the Peter Parker Spider-Man thing, with that power comes great responsibility. So a fantasist, to me, should be totally and utterly uncensored, free to say whatever the hell they want to say, free to get on paper whatever they want to get on paper. And you run the risk of being hated, resented, or you risk being loved. In terms of the fantasy that lasts the longest, well, let's look. Lord of the Rings, Archetypes, Star Wars, great story, fun, Flash Gordon, Archetypes, Planet of the Apes turned mankind upside down. And these are things that really continue to make one think. As time progresses and history progresses, what happens is you could look back at stories that were written 50, 60 years ago. Now all of a sudden they have relevance. With everything going on in the world today politically, and I promise I won't go there unless I'm asked, science fiction and fantasy really, look, they could be escapes or they could be a safe way of looking at something. I was talking to somebody earlier today, a friend of mine who's hosting a new show I'm producing towards the end of the month. And we were talking about Rod Serling, who is an idol of mine and a hero to him. And with Rod, it was like he had so much to say. And he was, at times, an angry guy, very opinionated, very political. But to sort of put a soft covering on it, he had to use robots, or he had to use beings from other planets, or he had to, basically create races to make those statements that he was trying to make about our contemporary times, or the contemporary times back then, that he couldn't necessarily do because he wouldn't be published in that regard, or he wouldn't be produced in that regard.